Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my final review before I leave for Florida, because I'm leaving for Florida today to go to Disney, which is really cool. My choir's going there. I've never really been to Disney. I'm really looking forward to the trip. But unfortunately, the sad news is that I can't make any videos from now till next Tuesday. So this is the last video I will be doing, and that is because I want to get one last video in there, and that will be for my review for Justified, which thank God I can review this episode. Thank God I watched it, because what an episode this was. Oh my God. This was by far the best episode of the season. Absolutely loved it. Everything that happened in this episode, I don't think I ever imagined happening until way, like, the second to last episode. That's when I thought this was going to happen, and I love that Justified is just suddenly getting, like, so fast-paced, because it was such a slow season, but I like the slow pacedness of it, and now it's, like, getting so quick, and I love that. So let's just get into this episode, because it was amazing. It was by far best episode of the season. So Catherine's ranting to Win about Boyd's plan. He says he told Boyd that Avery was moving the money, and says he did it because Catherine's engagement news made him doubt their plan. And he says he needs her to find out if Avery will be moving the money. And Catherine says she hasn't heard from Avery in hours. Now, of course, she doesn't really trust Avery, if you remember. She's playing him. She doesn't really trust him. And he asks her to be in touch when she hears from him. And Tim and Raylan listen to this. And Win says whatever Catherine gets from Avery, she can tell Boyd he wants out. So Tim and Raylan tell him that he hasn't met their requirements yet, and Raylan says he's trying to get the shot at the 10 million and may have set up Boyd for failure. So you're really starting to see that Raylan is really starting to focus more on Boyd and less on Avery, which I really like seeing, actually, because, I mean, this episode really reminds us that, yeah, Boyd is our main villain here. While we care about Boyd, Boyd is our main villain. He's the one that needs to, end up with very depressing things happening to him. So Win and Mikey are not pleased. Ava and Boyd drink at the bar, and Limehouse shows up, and Boyd says he wasn't sure he'd show, and Ava and Limehouse swap bars, and Limehouse says she's the only woman he ever regretted giving sanctuary. Now, I didn't know really what Limehouse was going to do with Boyd, because, of course, he, was the one that revealed to Boyd about the whole don't trust Ava thing, the whole CI thing. I thought that they were going to end up working together, but I really didn't know what was going to happen there. So Boyd takes him in the office to talk. He says he almost died tonight in a mine, which is true. He did almost die. And Limehouse asks if he's got what he wanted at least, and Boyd says they don't like each other, and that's a simple truth, but says he can get him what he needs and he'll pay him big. And Limehouse asks why he should help, and Boyd offers him $50K, and Limehouse says he knows he collect $100K for the Walker reward, and Boyd pulls out the other stock of cash, and Limehouse says he will get them all new papers, only one condition. He says when he's gone, he wants Boyd to promise never to come back to Harlan County because he wants nothing to do with him. Which is surprising. I never really thought I'd heard Limehouse say that, but yeah, he doesn't want him back in Harlan County. So Boyd says he doesn't have to ask him twice. Ava sees Dewey's gator tooth necklace on the stuffed squirrel on the bar. She pulls it off and is stunned. Now, of course, Ava had no idea that Boyd murdered Dewey. He never told her that. He never told anybody. And honestly, it happened so early in the season that I didn't really think it was going to come up, but it's now coming up. It's coming back to haunt Boyd, and it's really just, again, it's showing you that Boyd is the villain here, and bad shit is going to start to happen to him because of things he's done. Now stuff's going to start to happen to him, and I actually really do like that. So Tim and Raylan go to a diner. Boon happens on Raylan and says he was thinking about the movie Cowboy. Of course, that really creepy guy Boon who made a pass to Loretta last week, he's still there. And he talks about the cook who wears a hat, and Raylan says Boon should talk less. And Boon is just this hilarious guy. Like, he talks way too much. He thinks he's much more powerful than he is. He kind of reminds me of Walker, but he's not, like, terrifying like Walker. He says one guy told him once, Boon asked if he came across a guy who has never done anything macho but wears a hat, and Boon says they should disabuse the guy of that notion, and Raylan says he overestimates how much they have in common. I'm like, Boon, you have no idea what you're saying. Raylan wears a hat. You're going to offend him. And Boon says he'll think on that. Avery walks over, raises his hands, and asks if he's going to arrest him. Raylan says he needs to call Katherine and says he's moving his money. And Tim says that Boyd has an inside woman. Avery says that's bullshit, and Raylan says they'll get Boyd if she passes on the info, and if she doesn't and they don't, he can trust her. So Tim says if she's not after the money, she won't ask how he's trying to move it, and Avery says she hasn't. They tell him she will. Raylan tells him to call Katherine and just see if she brings up the subject. They walk out, he calls her and says he's okay. Katherine asks if he's thought about what he's going to do with the vault contents. He says he's sending the money to Charlotte. So Boon looks like he's hoping he gets to kill her, and Wynn meets with Boyd and Carl. They look at a map of Charlotte and try and figure out where to take the money. Now, Boyd is the perfect spot and says that's where the miracle will happen. So, basically, you think they're going to take the money there. But I knew this was sort of going to backfire for Boyd just because of the way this episode was going for him so far. So Wynn makes a call to Raylan and reports, and he tells Mikey to take them home and tells him to stop with his code bullshit. Mikey says he's done with the code, and Wynn asks if he's putting on his big boy pants. Mikey says something like that. Raylan and Tim watch the pizza place. They put together a fake truck for him to hit, and Tim says they see Boyd as a guy watching it, and Raylan says that Boyd is too smart for this, and Tim says Boyd is so smart he's stupid, which is kind of true. I mean, he's such a smart guy. However, when some things are revealed to me, he is too trusting of people. I would definitely admit what Tim said, and I've said it before, as much of an asshole Tim is, he does actually bring up a really good point. Really, he does. Tim is an asshole. Okay, he's an asshole, but he brings up a really good point there. So Ava talks to Carl and asks if Zachariah could have lived. He says the crazy bastard got turned around and ran the wrong way. And he's asking why she even cares, but I think she cares. She doesn't care because he died. She doesn't think he got turned around. So she thinks that possibly he could have lived, which is true. I mean, we didn't see him die. We just think that he died. So I don't think Zachariah is dead. I'm not sure, but I pretty much kind of agree with Ava that he could be alive still. So Boyd says he's riding separate from Carl and sends him out on his way, and Boyd tells Ava to go pick up the stuff from Limehouse and says he'll tell her where to meet him. He tells her that no money will be in the truck, and she asks how he knows, and Boyd says he's too smart, and she says Avery, and he yells at her and says Raylan, and then tells her to trust him and meet him, which this episode was called Trust for a reason, because it was all about trusting people. And she holds a necklace and looks at it, and she calls Raylan and tells him Boyd is not going after the truck, but is going after the money. So they're very off with what Boyd wants to do. He doesn't want to go after the truck. He wants to go after the money. So Rachel and Vasquez talk to him, and Tim, who's watching Carl and Earl, Rachel tells Raylan to stay on Ava, and because, of course, she didn't really want to use Ava as a CI. They were using Wynn before, but now it seems like that whole plan is done. So Vasquez says Ava's heading back to jail since she hasn't fulfilled the contract, and Raylan tells Tim that Boyd will never let them take him in and will try to go out like an outlaw. So Katherine puts on, which is true, he's going to try to go out like an outlaw. He's planning on leaving Harlan County. He's planning on leaving with Ava, and it seems like he thinks that he is going to end up unstoppable, which I could kind of see happening at this point. I really could, but the way that Raylan is doing this is actually very smart what he's doing. I like that Raylan's now doing what Boyd did, because you know how Boyd always thought 2 steps ahead of Raylan? Well, now Raylan's thinking 2 steps ahead of Boyd, which I think is awesome, and I love that he's doing that. Because it's just setting up a really awesome final showdown, which I know is coming in episode 13. I can't wait for it. So Katherine puts on lipstick and is stunned to find Boyd waiting on her with a gun. He said he found a way to get at that money. And when he had that gun, I'm like, is he going to kill Katherine? I thought that's what was going to happen here, but he doesn't, which I like, because I like Katherine's character. So Avery's at Lillian's house, and she pours a drink. She's Loretta's great aunt, and he tells her that Loretta has fallen in with some bad people. He asks how she ended up in foster care. She sees he's asking who would inherit Loretta's property. And, of course, we didn't see Loretta in this episode, but you're still wondering if Loretta's really going to work with Avery, if she was sincere about that, but... And I like that Loretta's aunt is not stupid. She says she knows who Avery is and what he is. She says he's a no-account Peckerwood, for starters, and Avery says that's a wrong impression of his intent. She says it looks like he came to get to her to talk Loretta into selling her, or her to sell one, like he kills her. Which, I do have to agree with what she's kind of saying, that he's only doing this because he wants someone to work for him, but no. He does want money, but I do feel like he really does want to work with Loretta. And Avery leaves and tells Boon that Lillian is tough as a pine knot, and Avery says necessary things weigh on his conscience, and Boon isn't bothered, and Avery says he's sorry since he knows he's fond of Loretta, and Boon says fond has nothing to do with it. So he heads into Lillian's house, shoots her a couple of times, and while Avery waits, and they just killed Lillian. So yeah, they killed someone, and I thought that was pretty big that Lillian died, because it seemed like every character we've seen with Avery, ends up working for Avery. So I thought it was interesting that Lillian didn't. To them, Lillian is an idiot. So, and no one really messes with Avery. No one gets to mess with Avery. So it really shows how unstoppable Avery is. I personally, we're getting to the point where I kind of feel like Avery's gonna live. I'm being honest. I think Avery's gonna live. A lot of people thought he was gonna die in episode 10, but no, he's still alive. So I kind of feel like at this point Avery's gonna live, but we'll see. So Boyd calls Avery. He has Katherine in his truck. Boyd says he knows the money isn't on the way to Charlotte. Boyd says he's going to give him money and drive north or else she dies. And he says any delays if he doesn't come along, she dies. So he's serious when he means this. And Boon offers to come with Avery and he says no. He's going to play it straight. And Boon says to call if he changes his mind. Avery says he's a good boy and tells him to stay out of trouble. Boon says he's going to find out what kind of entertainment this shithole offers. And Mikey says Wynn said this time when he asked him about snitching for the marshals, he asked if he snitched on Grady. And Wynn asked if he just figured that out. And Mikey laughs, bashes Wynn's head onto the table, cuffs him to a chair, takes all of Wynn's weapons away, then makes a call to Katherine. That was awesome, I have to say. That was awesome right there. Seeing Mikey turn against Wynn was something I never thought we would see, and I think it's really awesome that happened now. So he leaves a message and says he has something she'll be interested in. Boyd waits with Katherine, who tells Boyd that she'll come after him. He says she should do what she has to do. She says he's pretty cool if he doesn't mind looking over his shoulder for the rest of his life. And Boyd then calls Avery and asks where he is. He tells him what exit to turn off at and says to call them. Tim took Carl and Earl into custody for trying to rob the fake truck, and he tells Rachel that Boyd wasn't with them. So Rachel goes to Vasquez and says Ava told Raylan the truth. And so Rachel can now see that Ava is good at being a CI and good at working with Raylan. And it definitely seems like she is good at working with Raylan. However, at the end of this episode, I kind of feel like Ava has her own agenda, which I will get to. So Raylan goes to Ava's house. She looks at her fake passport. She says Limehouse does good work, shows him to them. She asks why he's there. He says he was supposed to stay out of sight and watch her. He says Vasquez wants to bust Boyd on something that doesn't require her corporation and toss her back in jail. And she said that Boyd just called and says Raylan can get him with the money. He says he's sorry, and she asks if he is. She asks what if they got him for murder. Raylan asks who. She shows him the necklace. She says it was hanging above the bar, and she talks about how Boyd killed Dewey. And Raylan knows that. He's known that, and he asks if she has a weapon witness or body, and Raylan says it's not enough, and I like what he says, that it doesn't, she says after all this, it's going to end like this, and says it appears that way. I like that he says that she has no evidence to prove that he didn't just cut himself shaving. Because it's true. Boyd did a really good job of making himself not a prime suspect. And no one really suspects Boyd. Raylan's always had in the back of his mind. It's just not really on his mind right now. And I like what he's saying, that there's nothing she can really do about that. Even though they have this evidence, there's nothing really they can do. So Boon's back at the ice cream shop and complains about Heath's health service, and he pours him coffee, and Boon asks what he said to Maya, but he doesn't answer. He's very blaze, and Boon asks Maya if she's a student, asks what she's studying. She says engineering, and he says she's studious. So Boon says this girl's an entrepreneur. She says she's young, but has grass in the field. Boon asks where Heath got his hat, then calls him a hipster. Boon asks how much it costs, and he has $80 or so. Boon offers him $100 and says he owes him $20. He says he can just order one online, but he says he's not selling, and you can't come in and tell a guy to sell something. And he tells him to leave. Boon says he should take off the hat before it gets bent out of shape when he gets rough. And he says he'll call the cops. Boon dumps his coffee out the counter and says Heath is about waitress, and you can see that Heath, that's the person he was talking about with just the hat, but they're not really that powerful. So Heath just gives him the hat. Boon puts it on, asks Maya if she likes it. He says on second thought it doesn't suit him and says it's a shame to go home empty-handed. He says one day he'll end up in the doghouse with his girl. He says he needs to get back in her good graces and says he can't leave empty-handed. He drops the 100 in the hat, asks if Maya has anything worth taking to her. And Raylan then tells Ava that he can't imagine Boyd will confess. He can't imagine Boyd's going to confess, and he doesn't really trust Boyd at this point. She says she can get him to. First of all, what she's gonna do is she's first gonna be really guilty about it, but then she's gonna start taking off her clothes and seduce him. And she says that she has wiles at hand and says Raylan was once held sway with them. She says he threw her over and asked if he ever thought how things would have changed if he had taken her lawn when he left. And He asks what she's supposed to say, and she says she'll ask straight away about Dewey. Raylan says he wants to trust her, but says Boyd won't say. She says if she doesn't, she'll take all her clothes off and ask again, because she has a way of doing that. Of course, Ava does that. She seduced him before. She can do that now. So I like that she's really trying to get Raylan to trust her, but Raylan's just not really sure if he should trust her, because the last time she did nothing. So I can totally understand why Raylan's not really sure if he should trust her, but at the same time, I think Ava can do this. So Avery pulls up to meet Boyd and Katherine. He asks if she's okay. She says to ask her later. Avery shows he has no gun on him. Boyd says this is a conundrum and says someone always has to go first. He has to see the money. Avery pulls out this very heavy duffel bag, puts it in the bed of a truck. He shows him there's cash inside. Katherine sighs longingly. Avery brings a second bag, throws it in the truck. Boyd says they can all ride off into their respective sunsets. Puts a gun to Katherine's head. She doesn't want to leave the money, but then staggers over toward Avery. Boyd says ripping him off was Katherine's idea from the jump as a payback for him murdering Grady. He says he thought he should know. He drives off elated, and basically, I thought that was really interesting. So he murdered Grady, and so yeah, now she knows that Avery, she thought that Avery basically murdered Grady, and Avery asked Katherine if she really thinks he had murdered Grady, and she says she didn't, but she doesn't anymore, because now she knows that Boyd did it, which I thought was really interesting. So now that thing of Katherine not trusting Avery, that's over, because now she knows that she can trust him. The question is, does she really want to go into this marriage with him? I'm thinking that she still doesn't really want to. Does she actually love him? Is she still playing him? Is she secretly looking at Boyd? I really don't know, and I love that we don't know, because I really don't want to know what's going on there, because I find it just be a lot more interesting when we don't know. So she asks what happens now. She asks if he's going to kill her, and I definitely feel like that's a possibility, but we don't see what happens in the episode. Then the end of the episode, oh my god, guys, I did not see this coming, what happens at the end of the episode. Because Ava waits for Boyd, he pulls up, gets out in triumph, he hugs her, then says they can talk on the road. She pulls a gun, shoots him, shot him in the leg. I thought he was dead, I really did. When he died, I'm like, did they just kill him off? I thought they did. But we see him in the promo next week, very much alive. He's in the hospital, so he'll be fine there. Raylan tells her to put the gun down. Ava says she delivered what he always wanted. Boyd bleeding at her feet, which is true. That's what he's always wanted. He's always wanted Boyd shot and powerless. And because Boyd's such a powerful person, to see him powerless is really just, wow, it's big to see. She says she can't go to prison, says he can kill her, let her go. And I thought she was going to kill Raylan. I really did, but I'm like, there's no way she's going to kill Raylan. Raylan says he'll come after her. She says she knows. She drives off in Boyd's truck, and that's how it ends. So now I feel like she has her own agenda. She's not going to let Raylan make decisions for her. She's going to do what she wants to do, and that's what Ava's going to do. And I find it to be very interesting if that's true, that Ava's going to do what Ava wants to do, because it just seems like she really does have her own agenda. So overall, guys, by far this episode season, there's a lot to talk about, though. What do I think is going to happen now? I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't have many predictions now because I don't know what's going to happen. And I like that they did that because we have 3 episodes left. And I know, I can't believe it. We have 3 episodes left. And I like that I have no idea what's going to happen because I want these last 3 episodes to be amazing. These last 4 episodes have been so good. They've all been better than the last, and I've loved that. And the thing that this episode had was just that tension and that thrill. This felt like a penultimate episode. It really did. And we're only on episode 10. Like, this would have been the penultimate episode if this would not have been the final season, definitely. So I love that, and I love that Ava's now turning against Raylan and Boyd. I knew for sure she was going against Boyd, but going against Raylan, I didn't think that. Now she's doing that, I think Ava's going to be the one that lives here. I think Raylan and Boyd getting into this huge fight, Ava's going to live. And it's going to be awesome, honestly. If Ava lives, that'll be awesome because she got out without her doing anything, and it would be awesome to see if that happens. Avery and Katherine, what is he going to do to Katherine? Is he going to kill her? Is he going to, does Katherine really love him? Does she even really care about him? I kind of feel like she cares about him, but at the same time, I don't really know. There's a part of me that wants to think that she does, but there's a part of me that thinks that she really doesn't care about him. I'm really not sure. What do you guys think? Mikey, what's going to happen with Mikey? Did he kill Wynn? Wynn, I think, is just asleep right now. We'll see what happens there. I want to talk about Boon, because I like that we saw more of Boon's character in this episode. What's going to happen between Boon and Maya? I don't know. Maybe Boon's going to start something. We'll see. that whole thing with Katherine killing Avery, I don't think he's going to die now, but do you think that maybe Avery's going to live? I kind of feel like Avery's going to live on the show now. I said it. I think Avery's going to live, and I still feel like that's going to happen. But overall, guys, by far best episode of the season. And yeah, guys, so that's it for a week. Let me explain how the rest of the week's going to be. You're not going to see me for the rest of the week. I will not have any videos up till next Tuesday. I know I didn't review Better Call Saul. I was extremely busy yesterday. What I'm going to do is when I watch Better Call Saul next week, I will review both episodes. I promise you that is coming. What do I plan to do? Do I plan to watch any TV in my spare time? Yes, maybe some TV. I might watch an episode or two of something. Maybe on the way home, I will watch something and review it to you guys. But don't expect a lot of reviews till next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, Letterboxd maybe, because I am going to watch some movies. So Letterboxd, I might have some stuff up. YouTube, there's not going to be anything till next Tuesday. Because next Tuesday is when I get back, and then I'll be able to put up reviews for you guys. So if you guys are wondering, that's really what's going on there. I know you guys will miss my reviews, but unfortunately, well, actually, I'm looking forward actually to this trip. I really am. So I'm not really gonna care, but at the same time, just so you guys know, that's really what's going on there. So basically, that's it for my reviews for right now. So hope you guys have enjoyed them for the week, because that's it. That's all you're gonna get right now. But let me know what you guys saw this episode. What a great episode. So happy I could review it. So yeah, tonight it'll be like, where are your reviews for Arrow and the Americans? Where's your review for The Flash? Where's your review for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Not up tonight, guys. Sorry, not up. They're not going to be up tonight, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Everything will be up. Tuesday's going to be a really crowded day, but I'm going to try to do everything Tuesday. So Tuesday I'll get The Flash, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Arrow, The Americans, then I'll get, all the shows I watch, the finale of The Walking Dead, Shameless, the season of House of Lies. I'll get all that stuff up. There's a show coming out, there's also a new show coming on tonight that I want to check out, so I'll get that review up as well. But just so you guys know, that's really how it's going to go. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys saw this video. I'll see you guys in my next video, which won't be for a while, but it will be my review for The Flash. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.